Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and Chag Sameach. We know if you were here in this building, if it was Sukkot sleep out, you would be running wild around this building, having the time of your lives. And all of us boring adults would have probably gone home by now. But we are not able to be together in that way in this building. But what we are able is to still create that incredible atmosphere that you would have had on your Sukkot sleep out. And I am so excited to see some gorgeous dens on my screen, fairy lights, and people all snuggled down for the evening. We're getting snuggly here in the Alyth building. Something that you would have brought to the Sukkot sleep out is your entire selves, your entire beings, your bodies, your souls, your voices. And so we're going to try and do that this evening in our sleep in to bring absolutely everything we have to this sleep in. So we're going to sing, we're going to read, we're going to play, we're going to do everything we can to create that atmosphere that you would have had. We are so excited to all be together, and we hope that you enjoy this Oneg Shabbat and this Oneg Sukkot as we work our way through our special booklet that you can find online. And if you haven't already, please download the Skyview Lite app on a handheld device, because very, very soon we are going stargazing together.
The lulav that resembles the human spine. May we stand straight with courage and integrity. The myrtle, whose leaves are shaped like eyes. May we behold the beauty and grandeur of the universe. The willow, whose leaves resemble human lips. May we offer enduring words. The etrog, shaped like a human heart. May love guide us from selfishness to service.
The lulav that resembles the human spine. May we stand with courage and integrity.
One of the women that comes to mind that had the most courage and integrity of almost anyone I've ever heard of is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a judge in the Supreme Court who sadly recently passed away. And she once said, "I am a judge, born, raised, and proud of being a Jew. The demand for justice, for peace, and for enlightenment runs through the entirety of Jewish history and Jewish tradition. I hope in all the years I have the good fortune to continue serving on the bench of the Supreme Court of the United States, I will have the strength and courage to remain steadfast in the service of that demand."
Zarua Latzadik Uli Shelem Simcha Zarua Latzadik Uli Shelem Simcha Zarua Latzadik Uli Shelem Simcha Uli Shelem Simcha Zaru ala tzadik kol yisraelem simcha, kol yisraelem simcha. Ya Elai, 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 ya Elai, ya Elai, Elai. tzaddik, kol Yisrael simcha. Kol zarua tzaddik, kol Yisrael simcha. Okay, everyone. So we are now going to try out a little bit of a standing tree meditation. We're going to stand with courage. So I'm going to ask you, if you are inside a den and you can stand up, that's great. If you are inside a den and you might need to leave your den to stand up, then please do so. I am going to have to leave my starlit den so that I'm able to stand up. So I'm going to try and make sure that you can all still see me. So hopefully the light is going to be bright enough. Maybe we need a bit more light. Okay. I'm gonna have to do it down here. Right, so we are going to be to ourselves, we are going to be like the trees that have shed their leaves that we have taken to put on top of our sukkahs. So one thing that we're going to start off with is a standing strong pose. So whether you're on your knees or whether you are standing on your feet, you want to have your feet together and you're just going to put your hands on your hips and you're going to hold a superhero pose just to get yourself really grounded. So I want you to really notice your heels, try and make your heels kind of push into the ground. And once you feel like you've found your center and you are comfortable, just hold that and gently breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just making sure that you're finding that balance, that you're equally standing on both feet with your heels pushing down into the ground. So we can really center ourselves. We want to stand tall and strong like a tree. Brilliant. Okay. So we're going to move ourselves from this position really carefully. So your feet should be together like this. So to make sure that we end up with our feet in equal places, I'm going to show you with my hands so that, because you won't be able to see my feet, you are going to take your feet out like this and open up. And then you're going to take your feet out again and open up. And that way you can find that you've got your feet in a perfectly equal balance from where you're standing. Okay? Great. Now, while we're in that position, those of you who've got the booklet can see our line drawing. You're going to take your hands from your hips and like a tree branching out, you're going to open up your fingers and you're going to branch out and pushing your hands towards the floor and then turning your palms out to face forward so that you can feel your shoulders pushing down, your shoulder blades pushing together. And once you find a comfortable position in there, I want you to continue that breath. Inhaling through your nose, maybe count for 4, and exhale through your mouth or your nose if you feel comfortable, for 5 or 6 if you feel that you can. And then the last of our tree postures. So there are 3 variations of this for different abilities to try this out. So the easiest of the 3 postures is you're going to put your feet back together. You're going to put your feet back together. This is the easiest version of it. You're going to put your feet back together and you're just going to bring your palms to heart center and you will just hold that in a balanced way. Now, if you want to make it slightly harder for yourself, I need to do this somewhere that you can actually see me. Let's try this way. I'll go back into my den. Okay, there we go. We can actually see me now. Okay, so you are going to, keeping your right foot or your left foot, depending which way your balance feels more comfortable, you're going to bring your foot. Now, the medium hard is to bring your foot to just below your knee. So not on your knee. Make sure your foot is not on your knee, but just below your knee. And then you can bring your hands to heart center. And if you want to try the third and hardest level of it, you can bring your foot to above your knee but again, not on your knee, above your knee. You don't want to put any pressure on your knee. So again, if you're struggling, simple one is feet together, heart palm center. Medium one is just below the knee. And then the hardest one is bringing your foot up above the knee. So don't push your body to somewhere that you're not comfortable. If you can't find the balance, then find the balance in the one of the three that works for you. And when you find it, hands to heart center. And again, we will take our breaths in the comfortable position. And this is your way to connect and feel rooted, and your way to center your body and find that balance within yourself. So just take a few breaths in this position. Standing like trees, some of the oldest living things on this planet. Now, if you feel comfortable too, you can come out of that posture gently, putting your foot that's up to the ground, releasing your palms to your side again and back to your hips. And then slowly you can find yourself seated down. And just remember throughout this evening to keep breathing, because the trees give us that air, and it is a blessing for us from nature to be able to live off of it.
We hand over to the Blank family to tell us all about what it means to have courage.
Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall, life doesn't threaten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud, life doesn't threaten me at all. Mean older mother goose, lions on the loose, they don't frighten me at all. Dragons breathing flame on my counterpane, that doesn't frighten me at all. I go boo, make them shoo, I make fun, way they run. I won't cry, so they fly. I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Tough guys fight, all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. No, they don't frighten me at all. That new classroom where boys will pull my hair. Kissy little girls with their hairs in curls, they don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams. I've got a magic charm that I'll keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all, not at all, not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all.
The myrtle, whose leaves are shaped like eyes. May we behold the beauty and grandeur of the universe.
That moment where you start talking and you're still on mute. So this is our moment of stargazing. So whether you know or not, part of our tradition on Sukkot sleep out and how to design our sukkah is that we are able to see through the roof. We are able to look up into the night sky and see all of the wonders above us. And so we have want to bring to you this evening a very special way of doing that exact thing without having to actually go outside. So I'm really hoping that everyone's had the opportunity on a handheld device to download the app Skyview Skyview Lite, which is a free app, and it should look something like this. So completely by accident, I am showing you the constellation of Pisces, where you can see that Mars, if I can angle it right, Mars is sitting just between the Pisces constellation. So for anyone here who is born late February, March, Mars is doing something for you right now. So I just want to check, has everyone got our app ready? Have we all got, does anyone need a bit of more time to get the app? Okay, fantastic. So we're going to have a virtual tour through the stars, the planets, and whatever else we can find in the sky. So the Jewish people have an ancient relationship with the stars above. At the point of Abraham's covenant with God, we are told to look up to the stars. So what I'd love you to do with your apps is, if you can, to just lie back in your sukkahs, so that you were looking up through the sky, and you will hold your night sky above you. And it said in Genesis 15, and God took Abraham outside and said, please look heavenward and count the stars, if you are able to count them. And God said to him, so will be your offspring. So what I'd love for you to just take a moment to do is, while you're leaning backwards, looking directly up, trying not to move your device, but looking directly up, see how many stars you can count in your direct view upwards. Just see how many you can count up there. Are there more than you can count on your hand? So for anyone who was wondering, it's the little white dots on the app. Okay. Who's found some stars? Millie and Jay, how many have you seen? Oh, they froze. I don't know. Go on, Millie, how many have you seen?
Like 100.
100 stars. Wow. And Hannah, how many did you see?
We've seen 18.
Wow. Yeah, I only saw 11 or 12. So 100 from Millie and Jay is pretty impressive. So Abraham is not the first and only time that we are told about the stars. It comes up plenty of times in our Jewish texts. We return to the cosmos when Jacob sleeps under the starry night sky and dreams of angels going up and down in an endless ladder. So just to calibrate you understanding how to use this app, I'd like you to look south, look straight down, and see if you can find the compass. You should be able to find a compass with north, south, east, west, which will give you some bearings. So if you ever get lost in the night sky, you can return to your compass to find your bearings again. So I can tell you, for example, that the Hubble telescope is at northwest, south of where you are sitting right now, assuming that where I am in South London has the same constellations as where some of you are in North London. You would have thought so, right? Small planet. So just finding your compass, finding your bearings. So Sukkot relates us to our Exodus story as well, and the journey through the wilderness, sleeping in booths as we traveled. Right at the very start of this journey, God asks Moses to look to the moon, saying, when the moon is renewed, that will be the head of the month. And this is where we understand our Hebrew calendar and the idea of Rosh Chodesh. So I'd like you now to see if you can find the moon. Without looking out the window, can you discover where the moon is in the night sky? Why? They should be able to identify. Is it next to Mars for everyone else? Brilliant. So we've got our moon here. So kind of sitting behind us, sitting behind me over there somewhere. Fantastic. And even later on in our Torah, Moses brings us right back to this, right at the close of the Israelites' journey to the land of Israel, saying, your God has multiplied you, and behold, you are today as the stars of the heavens in abundance. So we have this really strong relationship with the stars, but only a few constellations and planets are actually mentioned. And so a couple of things for you to find before we go on our tour. Orion, the giant angel, Orion's belt, is mentioned under the name of Kessil. So just have a gaze around the night sky and see if you can find Orion. I've actually lost my Orion. Not sure where I put him. Okay, so you have plenty more time to look for your Orion, but we also have the mention of Ursa Major, which most commonly is known as the Plough. So in the night sky, see if you can find the Mazarim, Ursa Major. Oh, that's Ursa Minor. And you should be able to find, so mine is kind of straight in front of the right side of my face. So you should be able to find Ursa Major, sorry, and it is the long back of the Great Bear constellation. So you should be able to, on your apps, be able to see the Great Bear. I should have said, by the way, hopefully everyone has their augmented view turned off, so you can actually see the darkness of space and the stars rather than stars in your room that you're in. But you should now be able to see the Great Bear in the sky. So, we ready to go on a bit of a tour? Ready to go on a bit of a tour of the night sky? Okay, now you'll have to bear with me because this can get a little bit confusing. I have spent the week spinning around in my living room trying to find my bearings around the stars in the sky. So, where are we going to start? We are going to start by facing the Plough. So if you find that Great Bear again, with Ursa Minor and the Plough above it. So the Plough sits just above the horizon. It consists of 7 bright stars and 1 more dim double star. And it sits within the constellation of Ursa Major, the Great Bear. So my instructions originally were, we're going to look to our left, but we're actually going to head a little bit south. So you're going to head a bit down to find a slightly dimmer star of Boots the Herdsman. So we're going to head a little bit south to find Boots the Herdman. So when you come down from the bear, you should come across Leo, who is currently hanging on to Venus. So Leo, who is currently hanging on to Venus. Do you know, I've lost Boots the Herdman. So let's go, we'll do a little constellation tour. So we've got Leo just below the Great Bear. And if you head slightly to the right, then you should come across the Crab, the Cancer constellation. And then you can head a little bit more to your right, and you should come across the Gemini constellation. And then again, oh, here we go. Here's Orion. I knew Orion was somewhere over here. Okay, so if you head right again from Gemini, and then ever so slightly downward, you should be able to find Orion. So Orion, the Great Warrior, who, if you look at Orion's belt, 3 incredibly bright stars on Orion's belt, 3 stars that can often be seen in the night sky, marking out Orion's belt, but many other stars making up the character of Orion. Okay, so we're going to head downwards again. We're going to head sort of south or down from Orion, so that you come to the compass point. Okay, so from the compass point, I want you to head in the westerly direction. Head in the westerly direction and you should find the Hubble Space Telescope. Can everyone see the Hubble Space Telescope? So this telescope in orbit of the Earth, taking photos millions of miles away from the Earth to see what is out there in the depths of space. And then if you keep heading up, so it's going to head up in front of your face like this. You come up from the Hubble telescope and you should find Virgo constellation, lady in the sky, who actually has the sun on her right shoulder and Mercury, the planet, just by her feet. So we're going to head left from Mercury, and we can now see the Libra constellation, the hanging scales of justice. And we're going to keep going left. You should come straight across to Scorpio. You'll see the big scorpion in the sky. And we're going to keep heading left, but a little bit up. So you can see I'm just over my left shoulder now. Just over my left shoulder, where you will see the great Sagittarius constellation, a centaur with a bow and arrow, who amazingly has both Jupiter and Saturn in his trails, the two biggest planets of our solar system. And then just to the left of them, right on top of the Capricorn constellation, is the International Space Station, the only part of Earth's orbit where there is nice gathering and getting together of all of the nations of Earth who are able to get up into space. So you can see there Jupiter, Saturn, the International Space Station, which is much bigger than it looks on this app. Okay, and then we're just going to head behind us a little bit so that you can see the Aquarius constellation up in the sky. And then back to Pisces, the two fish, the moon, and Mars. So at this point in the year, in these autumn months, you actually can see Mars up in the sky. You might notice what looks like a really bright star, but it has a red hue, and that actually is Mars. And if you don't believe me, now that you have this app, you can get it out at any point and check what it is that you're looking at in the sky. But some of the most rare moments are when you actually can spot Jupiter, when Jupiter is in the right moment of orbit around us, and you can see it in the sky. So thank you for joining us on our tour of the sky this evening. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you are able to continue exploring the stars in your indoor sukkahs for the rest of Sukkot. And I do encourage you to take your stargazing outdoors when you can and see what else you can find in the night sky.
It makes no difference to you. La, 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 la. We are so happy birthday to you. When we take a moment to look up at the stars, we see how much potential there is in the world around us. And something really fun that we saw in the Beta Villa is that the moon is actually in the arc. So if you ever wonder where the moon is when you're in the Beta Villa, just look there, it's right there. What would the world look like if it was full of all the things that we wanted it to be filled with? What would it look like if all your favorite things you could find in the world, if everything was exactly as you wanted it? We are going to hand over to Bella to tell us a little bit of what the world would look like if it was all upside down.
The day when the world turned upside down, when a frown became a smile, when the mice chased cats, and the cats chased dogs, the dogs laughed out loud at the pink and yellow frogs. When you went to bed in the daytime and got up at night, when the birds caught the school bus and the cows took flight, when the moon came out in the middle of the day and all of the ocean fish rolled around in the hay, when the children ruled the world and ice cream was free and elephants shrank to the size of a flea, when the grass rained lollipops up to the sky, when you wanted to laugh, but could only cry, when magic beans were real and giants were very small, you would eat spider legs so you could creep up the wall. This all happened when the world turned upside down, after I went to bed with a smile, not a frown.
So we're going
We
to
can.
sing about the incredible world with the words of Ya Alyth Sedai.
Ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 ay. Ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 ay. Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 Ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Adrenu kol hatzei, ya Ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 Ya Alyth Sedai, B'chol Hashem, oh, Ya Alyth Sedai. Ay, 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 ay.
Thinking of rejoicing with the trees, we move on to the willow, whose leaves resemble human lips. May we offer enduring words. So I wonder if all of you can close your eyes in your indoor Sukkot. What can you hear?
Our tradition is vitally concerned with the proper use of the power of speech. 3 times every day, we conclude the Amidah with the prayer, O God, keep my tongue from evil and my lips from deceit. But our sages remind us too that the power to keep silent should also be used frequently and wisely. We often regret having spoken, rarely having kept silent. In silence, there is the opportunity to reflect quietly, to resolve nobly, to probe deeply. In a noisy world, we need to make time to listen to those voices within us and above us, which will only be heard when all is hushed around us. Daily, the prayer book reminds us too that we can worship God not only with the words of my mouth, but also with the meditations of my heart. So now we are going to be transported to the Sukkot Lions for Hava Nashira.
Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira. Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira. Say hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira. Say hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira. Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah.
Now we invite ourselves to the Overlander K Sukkah to hear from Eitan.
Close your eyes, whisper a word, watch it carefully, see where it goes and what it does. Some words run quickly, some stumble and fall. Some are like soft silk, others rough, sharp-edged. Some words bring smiles, others tears. Our rabbis say, more important than anything we do are the words we speak, the promises we make to ourselves and to others. Close your eyes, watch the promises you make, say them carefully, see where they go and what they do.
We have spoken about the words we speak as well as the meditations of our hearts. And now we move on to the etrog, shaped like the human heart. May love guide us from selfishness to service.
O God, as we remember all you do, we make this promise to try to be like you. We will work to raise up those who fall, heal those who are sick, free those who are in need. As your partners, we will support the poor, feed the hungry, house the homeless, befriend the lonely, and give hope to all people. We will be caring Jews. As you have helped us live better lives, we shall help others.
If you listen really carefully sometimes, you can hear the beating of your own heart. So what you can do now, if you can imagine it, is just tap out the gentle heartbeat on your chest. And feel that internal rhythm in your body, the rhythm of your heart beating, reminding you how full of love you are. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. As we thank you, Adonai Eloheinu. As we thank you, and understanding among us.
shelter from thy throne. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from thy throne. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from thy throne.
When the world was created, God made everything a little bit incomplete. Rather than making bread grow out of the earth, God made wheat grow so that we might bake it into bread. Rather than make the earth of bricks, God made it of clay so that we might bake the clay into bricks. Why? So that we might become partners in completing the works of creation.
We're coming to the end of our Oneg Sukkot and our Oneg Shabbat. But I want you to take a moment to look around the foods that you have built in the house, in your houses. These incredible dens filled with fairy lights sparkling into the night. And I want you to think, if we built the world with as much love and care as we put into those special dens that you have created, if we filled the world up with as much love as you see in those dens, with as many cuddles and hugs and snuggles as you have in those dens, then what an incredible world it would be. So as we move out of our Oneg and into the rest of our Sukkot, we ask that you bring the love that you found in those dens into the world to create an even more wonderful world than the world that we have. So that our love stretches as far as all those stars in the sky. And so that we extend our love not just to our families and our friends, but also to those who need it most.